Welcome to ILTV's Israel Daily. I'm Marav Savir, standing in for Tracy Alexander and Aaron Porras. And coming up in today's newscast, Israel's deputy health minister calls mass protests in Tel Aviv against government economic policy a health terror attack. Israel and Italy signed an agreement to collaborate on antiviral treatment for COVID-19. And an inside look into the world of Israeli high-class way of life via their living rooms. Called a health terror attack by Israel's deputy health minister. Yoav Kish is referring to the mass protests held in Tel Aviv last night against the government's economic policies during the coronavirus pandemic. This as 10 people were arrested overnight in Jerusalem. Ultra-Orthodox demonstrators clashed with police over the closure of several neighborhoods in a bid to contain the virus. Tracy Alexander reports.
Making music and a lot of noise. Some 10,000 Israelis descending upon Rabin Square protesting against the Israeli government's handling of the economic fallout of COVID-19. Demonstrators are angry about what they say is insufficient aid offered to small business owners and the self-employed in the hard-hit entertainment and hospitality industries. The pain of these protesters being voiced as the country's unemployment rate soars to some 21% since the country went into partial lockdown in March, and aid packages promised by the government have been slow to come through, some Israelis fearful about the economic future of their country. Upholding the right to protest, police widening the area to allow for a bigger crowd after initially saying it would restrict the number of participants, with scuffles between protesters and police later breaking out near the Azrieli junction as protesters tried to block traffic, leading to the reported arrest of up to 5 people. The non-partisan protest going ahead despite the Prime Minister's office meeting with the rally organisers Friday, one day after Netanyahu announced a new welfare package, saying the measures will provide an economic safety net for the coming year. But for frustrated Israelis, it's too little too late, with less than half of the previous $29 billion pledge to the public paid out. The government shutting down a slew of businesses once again this past week, the Prime Minister admitting the economy had opened too quickly after the first wave, prompting an alarming spike in new cases. The numbers continue to rise, the Israeli Health Ministry reporting almost 1,200 new infections over the past 24 hours. The death toll is sitting at 358 after 3 more fatalities. This as lockdowns came into effect Friday in 5 towns and cities hard hit by the virus. Parts of Jerusalem, Beit Shemesh, Lod, Ramleh and Kiryat Malachi becoming restricted zones for 7 days.
Israel is continuing to collaborate with countries abroad to fight COVID-19. Last Thursday, an Israeli-Italian collaboration was signed with the Israeli embassy in Rome, promoting a link between the Israeli Biological Institute and medical research bodies in Italy to find a solution to the virus together. Joining me now with more is the Israeli ambassador to Italy, Dr. Dror Eidar. Mr. Ambassador, thank you very much for being with us.
Buongiorno da Roma.
Well, first of all, talk us through this partnership. What will Israeli and Italian scientists be collaborating on?
So as you said, the Biological Institute in Nessiona signed an MOU with Careggi Research Hospital in Firenze and with Toscana Life Science Foundation. This agreement will allow to develop a therapy to the COVID-19 on the basis of cloning antibodies from patients who have recovered. The institutes will exchange know-how and technology and also serological samples. The antibody treatment until now required a large amount of blood in order to extract a small amount of antibodies. The new cloning technology will enable production on a large scale. So we hope.
Mr. Ambassador, why do you believe Italy specifically is collaborating with Israel rather than other European countries doing so, such as Spain or the United Kingdom?
Well, Italy was the first Western state to experience this catastrophe. And during the horrible winter, we tried to help. So beside the gesture of solidarity, we tried to be practical, and I connected between the ministries of health and science in Italy and Israel. I tried to bring some scientists to Italy. It was very hard because of the bureaucracy and because of the mess that was in the peak of this pandemic. So I arranged a conversation between two prime ministers, Netanyahu and Conte. And after that, Prime Minister Conte gave an order to push this project. And then the Embassy of Italy in Israel entered the picture. And our honorary consul in Firenze, Marco Carai, also helped to arrange this connection between the Biological Institute and the Careggi Research Hospital. There are also other projects that we promoting, like this Thursday, we will have a webinar with the main scientists of national scientists of Italy and many other representatives with Mafat, the Authority of Development of Weapon in the army, but in that case, all the innovation that they developed during this crisis. So we try to do the best we can help these beautiful and wonderful people, and also as we saw the suffering from close distance, I'm glad to have at least this advanced step.
And we definitely look forward to seeing what this collaboration can achieve. Mr. Ambassador, thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Meanwhile, Jerusalem's Church of the Holy Sepulcher is once again closed to worshippers. The site, widely regarded as Christianity's holiest site, shuttered Friday due to coronavirus numbers in the Holy City. It's not yet known when the place of worship will reopen. It was closed for 2 months during the first wave of the pandemic, but this new wave of mass infections has eclipsed the first on both sides of the Green Line, leading to both the Israeli government and Palestinian Authority to reimpose restrictive measures. An Israeli hero decided to help business owners who are having a hard time making a living with a special initiative. Ziv Shilon was injured during his military service in the IDF and has since become an entrepreneur, international lecturer, and social activist. He founded a project that aims to help restaurants and small businesses affected by the corona crisis, and he now joins me in studio. Ziv, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
First of all, we all remember the moving testimony that Yuval Karmi gave about his falafel stand. Back then, you actually offered to buy this falafel for soldiers. Did you know then that it would become this big project that it is now?
Actually, no, but as most of the people that saw this video, I was there staring on my iPhone screen and telling myself, this is a picture that I don't want to see. And if I have any ability to help this guy, I will do it. So I called my partners and I told them, guys, we have to do something. And the second after, we decided to donate this donation. And from there, we started this amazing project.
So can you tell us a bit more about what this project is and what you've done since to help community in Israel and people who are in need at the moment?
So actually what we did is to take this sample of Yuval and expand it. We took over 190 falafels all over Israel, set a collaboration with some large firms here in Israel, startup companies, and actually made a connection from those companies to the falafels, and the falafels just came to that specific company's employees. They did a falafel festival for all of them, and we have another vector of donation that people just donate falafels, and we gave them to people that really need it.
Now, obviously, this extends beyond falafel stands, and we heard the cries of tens of thousands of people yesterday in Rabin Square here in Tel Aviv. What is it that you think people can do to help their fellow citizens in this time of crisis to go out and purchase falafels and things of the sort?
I think that there is a lot of things in the Israeli society that we need to develop, and we need to test ourselves. But if there is one thing that we have been good at, and we will be good at forever, I think, because of our DNA, is solidarity when we really need it. And I saw amazing examples of people that just from out of nowhere took responsibility and leadership and did projects like that. And what we need to do is just every single one of us just look right and left and test how can we help to the guy near us, whether if helping his business or his family personally. But there is some things that we can do to help each other finish this worst, maybe the worst economical crisis that we have experienced here in Israel and globally.
Well, Ziv Shilon, thank you very much for joining us today, and hopefully more people go out and help one another like you did. For Yuval Karmi and everyone in the falafel industry, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you. It was my pleasure.
And due to the coronavirus pandemic, Palestinian students have not had a normal school day since March. But as results of their final exams were released, celebrations involving fireworks led to the arrest of dozens who set off the pyrotechnics illegally. Nittany Manson reports.
Finding joy in the midst of hardship, Palestinians across East Jerusalem and Judea and Samaria, or the West Bank, are celebrating the completion of this year's Tawjihi, or high school matriculation exams, many filling the air with gunfire and fireworks. Keeping with hygiene restrictions due to ongoing coronavirus pandemic, the Palestinian Education Ministry sent out test scores by text message Saturday morning. The news nearly immediately sparking widespread rallies and parties, including fireworks and gunshots, which continued into Saturday night. A dangerous annual tradition, though, causing serious concern and noise complaints. Israeli police arresting 41 residents of East Jerusalem for illegal use of fireworks. Palestinian terror group Hamas, which governs over the Gaza Strip, likewise banning the practice. Hamas claiming the warnings were successful, with only 18 shots reportedly fired throughout the whole of the Gaza Strip, and no recorded injuries or damages have been announced. Meanwhile, as attentions were on new graduates, a senior member of Hamas's naval military wing was making his escape, apparently smuggled out of the Gaza Strip on a small Israeli boat. The escapee bringing only his laptop, cash, surveillance equipment, and a host of classified documents. Palestinian media sources saying that the man had been previously arrested and charged with spying for Israel. His escape apparently whipping Hamas into a state of hysteria and leading to a string of arrests of more suspects in an alleged spy network.
And a high for Israel, becoming the world's largest medical cannabis importer on the globe. But debate about its legality is still ongoing. Aaron Porras has more.
It seems the Jewish state is going to the weeds, Israel reportedly overtaking Germany now as this year's biggest medical cannabis flower importer. Some 4,000 kilograms of flowers reportedly arrived in Israel by June 2020, far outpacing previous years. The reason? Apparently, with looser requirements on medical cannabis than the EU and elsewhere, Israel has become a go-to destination for cannabis producers all around the world. Israelis also account for one of the highest use rates per capita. A 2017 study showing that nearly 30% of Israelis between ages 18 and 65 consumed cannabis in the past year. This number up from just 8% the year before. Meanwhile, a massive cannabis-based economy is bubbling just under the surface. Available via medical prescription, recreational use of cannabis is still only decriminalized. And a robust economy based on cannabis and cannabis-related products lays in wait for regulation to catch up. Two bills that would effectively legalize cannabis have been tabled since June, though, after gaining initial approval for a first Knesset vote. The bills, brought forward by Likud MK Sharon Haskel and Blue and White MK Ram Shefa, would pave the way for a regulated but open-use system similar to alcohol and tobacco.
חברי הכנסת, הצעת החוק לא נועדה לעודד שימוש בסמים או להניף דגל שכזה. נהפוך הוא. ההצעה מגדירה הגבלות על הגיל והכמות המותרת לשימוש והחזקה, מגדירה את המקומות האסורים לעישון ומסדירה את הקנייה והמחירה של קנאביס באופן שיאפשר פיקוח וביקורת הדוקים ובמקביל יחסל את השוק השחור והעברייני של הקנאביס.
Debunking criticisms against the plan, Haskel also pointing to the massive cash windfall that could benefit Israel should the legislation finally pass.
ובואו נדבר על כסף. ב-2018, שוב, קולורדו, שאוכלוסייתה כ5.5 מיליון נפש, הרבה פחות מישראל, הרוויחה יותר מ-$130 מיליון ממיסים ואגרות הקשורים לקנאביס, כ3% מהתקציב השנתי. סך הכל מאז שנפתחו החנויות ב-2014 נוספה לקולורדו הכנסה ישירה של כמיליארד דולר. תוסיפו לזה גם הכנסות עקיפות מתיירות ופעילות נלווית, הון עתק.
Ever wonder where Israel's rich and famous go shop to get their homes looking fabulous? Well, ILTV's Emmanuel Kadosh went to Pitaro Hecht, one of the home decor and furniture hotspots, to find out from interior designers in the know what it takes to design the perfect home for the Israeli high class. Emmanuel Kadosh has more.
Have you ever wanted to get a sneak peek into the lives of Israel's rich and famous? Well, today we're here entering the key to luxury living in Israel. This is the place where you can get your hands on the most fabulous interior design. This is Pitaro Hecht, the center of luxury design and furniture in Israel. They've been a staple for Israel's wealthiest since 1962, offering the world's leading international design and furniture brands, from Fendi to Prada to Ralph Lauren Home. Hi. Nice to meet you. I'm going to be meeting with two of Israel's top architects and home designers to learn about the process of designing the perfect home.
This is Rachel Falik. She's our executive designer.
Hi, welcome.
Thank you so
meeting
much. You too.
So let's take a quick tour of the showroom.
Let's do it.
So here we have Bentley. Here we have some Ralph Lauren. Here we have Fendi furniture.
Why not? The more Fendi, the better.
Here we have Ditre. And from here we have Roche Bobois. So Roche Bobois does a lot of collaborations with big name designers. For example, this is a collaboration with Jean-Paul Gaultier. And this sofa, it's the Majon. And it's very, very well known all around the world.
So let's say I am a customer living abroad, but I have seen or heard of Pitaro Hecht and I want to work with you guys. Is that an option?
Well, usually people from abroad contact us and they can go to our website, and on our website you can see everything, and depends on your needs and what you want, we will get you a quote. We offer the best prices in the luxury market.
I got the chance to talk to Orly Silber, an interior designer who's going to walk me through the process of designing a home. So if I was a new client, what would kind of be the color scheme that you would fit for me?
Well, see, this is exactly the thing. So even when you come into my studio and I see how you're dressed, that implicates
that I'm a very basic colored neutral person.
That you love neutral colors.
Yes.
The combination,
Right,
I can read you. It's from the sandals to your makeup, to your earrings, even your jewelry. So I would try to bring myself to your direction.
Is there a specific brand or room that you typically steer towards?
Pitaro Hecht hosts many companies, and some are more classic and some are more modern. So in this place, I can find almost everything for everybody. If I can show you around, then I would delightfully show you some beautiful pieces that I'm in love with. The colors that are very trendy now are more of the creams, whites, so that would really suit you very well.
100%.
And this is a more trendy material, a trendy look of a sofa, and that would be my pick for now, of course.
Could I just buy it like this?
Buy it.
And just take it?
Yeah.
Take it in the car and take it home? I actually do feel like I'm at home already, though.
So
I kind of feel like this
it's
goes
exactly
with me.
you, because you're a bit of a classic and a trendy person, and this would be it. This would be your sofa.
Next up, we met with Serge Ben David, who tells us all about one of his favorite homes to design.
What I like in Pitaro Hecht, they can propose a large scale of product, from furniture till accessories and lighting. And for me, to combine Roche Beaubois, which is clearly French, very contemporary choices and pieces, with a high-end like Fendi, is perfect for my design.
And that's what the life of the luxurious looks like here in Israel.
The University of Haifa launched an academic course on American Jewry as reflected in popular culture. To understand how the way America sees the Jewish community has evolved and changed over the years, Dr. Avner Shavit, film critic of the Israeli website Walla and lecturer at Haifa University's Rudderman program, is joining me now in studio. Dr. Shavit, pleasure having you with us today.
It's my pleasure.
Well, first of all, American Jewry has always had a prominent role in the film and TV industry, especially in the early days of Hollywood. Do they still have a prominent role in this big industry?
More than ever. There are more Jews than ever on American TV. That's why it's so natural to discuss this in the university. And the reason is there's more representation of the Jewish community because there's just more representation on American TV of minorities. And Jews are a minority, not in Israel, but they are in the States.
Is there such a thing that you could categorize as a Jewish movie, per se?
That's the question. What makes a film a Jewish film? If the director, if the screenwriter is Jewish, does it make the film Jewish? If so, most films are Jewish. If the characters are Jewish, does it make the film Jewish? I want to share a story. 4 years ago at Cannes Film Festival premiered a film by Noah Baumbach, a very Jewish name, called The Meyerowitz Stories, starring Ben Stiller, Adam Sandler, Dustin Hoffman, all the famous American Jewish actors. I sat next to a friend of mine, a Canadian Jewish film critic called Matt Hoffman. And after the ending of the film, I said, it's funny that the filmmaker is Jewish, the actors are Jewish, there's nothing Jewish about this film. And he said, are you joking? This is the most Jewish film I've ever seen. Because Israelis and American or Canadian Jews, they define Jewish in a completely different way. That's what's so fascinating.
So you lead me to another question. Is there a difference between the way Jews are portrayed in the TV and film industry and the way Israelis are portrayed in the TV and film industry? And who can actually, notice these differences on film?
Well, there's nothing Jewish about the Israelis portrayed in American TV. Usually they're Mossad agents.
And, we spoke about it, me and you, about a couple minutes ago, that Americans are very drawn to also Israeli TV shows or TV shows that have to do with Judaism recently. We're talking about Unorthodox or Fauda. What is it that draws Americans to these TV shows?
I think there's two different explanations. Why Fauda? I think Americans, they watch Fauda, they try to understand the conflict. And how is it that such a small area, the Middle East, influences the geopolitics so much? And they watch Fauda to try to understand the conflict. Why do they watch Unorthodox and Shtisel? I think it's because they're more drawn to spirituality and to religion.
Well, Dr. Shavit, thank you very much for joining us today for this fascinating topic. And now to the weather. In Tel Aviv, a low tonight of 76 degrees Fahrenheit. That's 24 degrees Celsius. And tomorrow, we're headed for a high of 84 degrees Fahrenheit. That is 29 degrees Celsius. And before we go, let's take a look at what's going viral in Israel.
Long time ago, where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe? If it hadn't been for Cotton Eye Joe, I've been married long time.
Nothing like the Cotton Eye Joe to bring a smile to our faces and a great way to either start or end our week, depending on where you are in the world. All right, well, that's it for today's news. Today's exchange rate is 3.45 shekels to the American dollar. For more news from ILTV, please like ILTV on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube and Roku TV pages. I'm Merav Savir, and thank you so much for watching.